So that's a good question. So it's a really good question that was asked, and it's will there be a color palette for the buildings and signs and those kinds of things? There won't be any control over what people could paint their buildings, but what I've seen work in other cities is that if you have a facade improvement grant, then because they're giving you money, they can say, these are the colors that you're going to choose. When I first started in revitalization stuff 30 years ago or so, they got very picky in some cities. And then what we found was you could just say you must use colors from a commercial paint colors heritage line or historic line or whatever. And if you go to some of the paint stores and you say, I have an old house, do you have a line of colors that might work? They usually have something called heritage or something that evokes that thought, and you'll see a huge range of colors, but they all tend to be pretty good colors that sort of blend in together, but they don't all have to look the same either. So you want to have that variety. When you look down a street and you see variety, it makes you want to go there. It's sort of our evolutionary thing of, you know, the more colors I see in the bushes, the more likely there's going to be a berry that I like, right? So we like that variety. So we say, you know, that's why we don't really like super blocks, because they're just monolithic. We like to say, wow, there are 12 shops and restaurants over there. There's bound to be something I like, and we'll cross the street for that. If they paint it all sort of beige, then we won't make that same effort. So across from Peeves, there's that where Antojitos and Take 3 is. There are 7 shops in there, but they all have that corrugated metal. So they're kind of losing out on business because that property owner hasn't made that delineation between the different stores. And you can do that with color. You can vary the height and the cornice of the different buildings to give you that sense of, wow, there must be something going on there. So that's more what I would expect is you can do what you want, but if you get our money, we're going to say this is the way you should do it, right?
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
The street does not look very wide.
It is not. It actually
Be a pretty tight fit for two-way traffic.
Yep.
One lane each.
so yeah. So 1 foot of the concrete to here, where that little delineation of the curb is actually street. So it's 11 feet wide, which is normal, but because 1 foot is on concrete, it's going to feel like you're in a 10-foot lane. Some cities are actually going to 9-foot lanes, which to me is, you're going to lose a lot of side view mirrors in a 9-foot lane. So this is just as wide as any other street, but it won't feel like it. So that's the optical illusion that makes you slow down, which is good because then pedestrians will jaywalk more if you're going slowly, and that'll make you slow down even more because you'll have even more hazards to be looking out for. And then a millennial will be trying to parallel park, which they aren't taught how to do anymore. So this is going to be, it's going to take you like 3 hours to get through this street. You know, it's going to be very much cruising and looking to find who looks interesting at a restaurant or cafe sitting outside. So there will be smart meters. We did, part of the cap and trade funds is putting in smart meters, which that got cut when the budget came in too high. So you will be able to use your credit card. They'll be able to change them, turn them off, change rates during events. They'll be able to do all kinds of different things with them. So that's it's a better thing. None of us like meters, but they really work well in making sure that short-term parking is available here. Otherwise, people from up there would park here all day long. If you made it 2 hours without meters, they'd come and scratch the chalk off their tires. I've seen that in other cities. So it ends up being something that we don't like, but it actually works really well. And that will be that the meters will cause turnover, so when you do drive down the street, the likelihood of you finding a parking space goes way up. And then you'll pay for that luxury. We are working on getting it changed this year so that we'll have some free parking in the lots and garages. So I'd like 2 hours free parking in the lots and garages. I'll probably get less than I ask for, but that's the idea. Even if we get an hour, it's way better than now. First, yeah, 75 minutes or 90 minutes. There's a pretty big variety between an hour and 2 hours of free parking, because if you're a regular down here, you're not going to park at a meter. You're going to go to where there's 2 hours of free parking, and that leaves more spaces open for more customers. So that's the goal that we'd be working toward.
How about validated?
Validated parking works well too. It will be for the lots and garages. We have that now, actually. Not all of the businesses participate in it, but during construction, the city gave every business that was having construction on Fulton or the side streets free stickers for the entire duration of the construction project. So they all have 2 hours free 2 hours free parking for their customers during construction. They're not paying for the validation stickers. So a little bit helps. So you kind of get a sense of it, right? Like Zachary was just saying, it feels a little narrow. And that's what we want it to do. We want it to feel a little narrow because that's the only thing that gets us to really slow down and pay attention. So we could form into groups of 5 and we could pretend like we're driving. If some of you want to go north and some of us go south, we could act this thing out. Maybe another time. All right. So we can keep going down the middle. Let me lock this one up. If you're claustrophobic,